Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Terry from Silverback Nutrition. I am with Gabby Spenst, who is fresh back from from semifinals, the North America West semifinals for the CrossFit Games. This is the third video in a series. We kind of started a few months ago, and I haven't been bugging Gabby to do the third one. I wanted to give her a chance to rest and relax, but here we are. She's ready to go. She's got a big smile on her face.
Oh yeah.
So Gabby, how'd it
Yep.
go? You're freshly back. Tell us about California. How was it?
Yeah. California was kind of crazy this year. It was definitely different than last year. I had some more like things going on in like my personal life, and I found that played a big part in my weekend there, just mentally and everything. Like physically I felt fine and everything, but like mentally it was a little bit different than last year. So lots of things learned for sure.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. I think in any sport at any level, we can't underestimate the importance of mental health.
mhm.
And you and I talk quite often weekly, right? We talk quite a bit, and maybe I know a little more than the average person as to what stresses you out and stuff like that. But like what were you doing over the weekend that was kind of helping you deal with those stressors? Was there anything? Were you just throwing yourself into competition, or
Yeah,
like what was helping you get through the weekend to kind of deal with this stuff?
definitely the people that were around me. I had quite a few good crying sessions, to be honest. But having the people around me to support me and kind of be like, you gotta, like, yeah, these things are happening. We need to deal with them, but like, you're here right now, like, helping talk me through it and being like, we just gotta kind of, almost compartmentalize everything, and then deal with this night, like on Monday morning, like, and then I can, start that kind of process to, I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense or not.
No, yeah, 100%. So, you're talking about these people that were there with you, and your coaches and stuff like that were in California with you.
Mhm.
So, like, how important is it as an athlete, right? Like you're on the doorstep of making it to the CrossFit Games. You're an elite level athlete. You're honestly like you are, right? Like people would have killed just to make the semifinals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're there and you're competing, and you had some success, and in some events you didn't have some success, like we were just talking about before we came on and started recording. But
Mhm.
how important is it to have that support system when you're at competitions of that magnitude and that level where it's super stress, like it's max stress, like you're literally trying to get to the CrossFit Games, like the highest point of our sport. Like
Yeah.
how important is it to have that support system?
It's so important. Like, I can't stress enough on, like, you always hear people say like you can't do it by yourself, but it's like it is so true. And it's not even just like over the weekend of competing. It's like leading up to there. Like, I've learned how important it is to not keep things bottled in, because that will affect your training as well. Like, maybe you can muscle through for a couple weeks or a couple months, but like your body is like literally, like, I've had some health things come up just
Mhm.
because of like your physically your body wears it. And so I think it's incredibly important to have those people around to talk to and make yourself vulnerable to those people as well. It's like it's uncomfortable, but you're a team, and they're a part of your team. They want to support you. So I think it's like the most important thing, because I can be as physically strong or as fit, whatever, but if I'm not there mentally, then you know
Yeah, and we've talked about that in the past, you and I. It's like, and when we talk about, you and I talk about stress a lot and the things that stress us out in our lives. And it's like, and I've told you, it doesn't matter if you're like competing at semifinals, or you're trying to, track macros for nutrition, or you're studying for a test in school. It's like, if you're stressed out, you're
hmm
you're not going to be successful at whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, right? So yeah, I agree 100%. You got to have people around you that are a solid support system. And I really like what you're saying about having the vulnerability to break down and have a good cry session, right? And be like,
yeah,
someone help me here, and
yeah,
obviously your team was really good and they picked you up and they dusted you off, and you persevered through the weekend, and I thought you did a great job. I really,
thank
I was
you.
I was I was excited to watch. I was cheering, I was laughing, I was crying, I was just a
Every
ball of
emotion, I
ball.
was too. Yeah,
It was a roller. It was like we were connected in the
I
mind.
know,
So,
right?
but okay, give me what is your top? or your couple top highlights from competing in that competition? What stands out? Like, what was the thing that was like, oh my God, this was so cool?
You know, honestly, having Jason McDonald, he like
Mhm.
owns my gym here. And I hadn't seen him in months, and he was the head judge. And he was there. He was on the floor with me, and I remember, like, I was right in the middle lane for the first event, and he was right close to me the whole time. So just like, even though that event was far from what I wanted to do, it was just like it was like a moment for me to. It felt like I was sharing it with him because he's been there from the beginning. Like, he's been a big role model to me. He teases me, but he also, picks me up, and that was something that was super cool to me.
Yeah, for people that who don't know who Jason McDonald is, he's a pretty big name in CrossFit Canada, right? He's been around the sport forever. Tremendous masters athlete, former UFC fighter,
Yeah.
and he's kind of an imposing guy. And like, I've done my level 1 and level 2, CrossFit level 1, level 2, and he's been my instructor. And it's just like, do I know anything? Like, should I even be in this sport? Like, I feel like small next to this guy. He's got so much knowledge and so much talent. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I here? Like, this is ridiculous. But at the end of every weekend, he turned out to be like the best guy, and he's
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 super good.
amazing. Yeah.
And I think the people that train at his gym in Red Deer at Pure Fitness, man, I think they have a great resource and a coach like Jason. So
Yeah.
obviously that was a highlight for you, and that's awesome. So
Yeah.
so going on the other end of that, what would you
Mhm.
pick is like, obviously we talked about the stress, and you kind of had these little breakdowns and stuff like that. So would you
Mhm.
say that was kind of the low point of the weekend, and kind of the things that suck the most?
Yeah, I would say that. And yeah, just starting, like, it was really hard for me to deal with the fact that, like, the weekend started with a workout that I thought I could do pretty well in, and then, like, I didn't do terrible. Like, I still was in the top 30, but I like uh it just did not go the way I wanted to, and that's just a part of the sport.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a little bit harder when it's the first day and it's the first event, and you already feel a little bit beat down, so that just kind of knocks you down even further. So to be able to pick yourself back up out of that and be like, okay, I have to focus on the next event. um that was hard, but in that, like, that might be a low point, but I think that's also at the same time a high point because it allowed me to learn so much, like, not just about competing and everything, but in, like, the weeks leading up, just like with the mental stuff that we've been talking about, being vulnerable and getting in a good headspace, I think, even before you get there. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a certain strength that comes from being able to pick yourself up, whether it was you by yourself or you with your team,
Hmm.
and to kind of learn from those experiences. And from everything you're saying, it sounds like, hey, Gabby Spence has just matured as an athlete. She's learned a lot. She's gained this experience. She's taken it into 2024. And I think there's other athletes out there that would have a bad weekend and be like, do I want to do this sport anymore? Why am I still doing this? You know what I mean? But let's
Yeah.
be honest, there's probably people that will pack it in and
Yeah.
say, hey, I can't get to that level, and I'm just, the mental stress and the physical training is just too much. But you know what? You took it, you learned from it, and you're moving forward. And from watching you post on social media, you're pumped about 2024 and you're ready for that. And I think
Yeah.
I think I think big things are going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of, let's talk nutrition, right? So we're
Mhm.
we're a nutrition company, and what what do you do through that weekend? Like, are
Mhm.
you packing a whole bunch of food? Tell people how you get through the weekend for eating. Do you just eat
Yeah.
because you're burning so many calories, or how's it work?
Definitely. I think it's just having, like, competing food. I had Pop Tarts in my bag and dried mangoes, stuff like that. I tried to pack like a thing of rice and chicken. I told myself I had to, like, eat this, like that. I had to eat that, and then I was just, trying to snack away because it's definitely hard
Yeah.
to eat. But I think that, like, even if arguably we're not like working out as much, the intensity is so high that your heart rate's like going the whole time. And I think that you burn more than you think that you do. And
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're going max effort every event, and you
yeah.
are like literally frying your central nervous system, right? And you're just, through the stress and the physical fatigue. I think you're burning way more calories than people realize. And like, at the end of the day, you're going back to the hotel or whatever, like, are you ordering pizza? Are you going to Popeye's Chicken? Like, this is what people want to know. We know you
I
love
actually
Popeye's
did.
Chicken.
It was spaghetti actually. Um, I didn't do any Popeyes. We did like Chick-fil-A when we got there, and then pizza
There,
on the last day. But
there it is. There it
yeah,
is.
I just ate whatever kind of like sounded good to me, and I had like Trader Joe's, a couple burritos from there that I ate. Just kind of ate whatever sounded good to me, which was actually a lot of similar food that I'm used to eating on a daily basis because that's where I'm comfortable. So
Absolutely. Very
yeah.
cool. So you're home from California. You've had a few weeks now, probably a month now at this point, to
Yeah.
kind of rest and regroup and rethink everything through. So what's
Hmm.
the plan? What's the plan now? You're in the off season. So
Hmm.
what does your training look like? What does your nutrition look like? It's obviously not the same volume. Do you
Yeah.
are you still going to eat the same amount of calories? Like what does it look like now that you're kind of post season?
Yeah, definitely less training volume. I'm doing like going to the gym. For the past few weeks I've just been doing whatever sounds fun to me. Well, took a week off to go to Disneyland and then took another bit of time off. But and definitely just enjoyed myself and whatever I felt like. Uh but yeah, I basically went to the gym, warmed up, did the class workout, some accessory stuff that sounded fun to me, and I went home. And now it's still not going to be a lot of like hours in the gym, but it's going to be a lot of like strict gymnastics. I'll probably still do like the class workout, just really focusing on building up a really good base. And nutrition wise, that not eating as much as I was, but still making sure that I'm eating a good amount of food whenever I'm hungry. Yeah.
I'm watching. Just remember that I'm watching. So yeah, no, that sounds good. And you're like you were saying, your coach has got a plan for you in the off season. I'm not gonna talk about what that is. We'll keep the secret as to what's your strength and your weaknesses are. So yeah, you know what? It sounds like you're just kind of kicking back, relaxing, having some fun again in the gym,
Yeah.
right? It's not as stressful. You can go and just have some laughs, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good spot to be. You seem in a very good headspace. You seem content, and you seem ready to go. So
Yeah.
is that a fair statement?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I like it. So
Yeah.
for those people that don't know, we post pretty regularly on our social media. And we posted a while back that Gabby was an athlete that we were sponsoring, myself and Apollo Strength in the Edmonton region. So we were super proud to get behind Gabby. But then Gabby and I decided to take that one step further, and you can see she's donning her shirt there. So we actually have brought her, we brought her on, and she's going to be our new assistant coach of Silverback Nutrition. So we're very excited about that. She is currently working with some test subjects, and yeah, what are you pumped to get rolling as a nutrition coach? It was
Oh
a
yeah.
passion. It was a passion of yours. Like you
Yeah.
had taken some courses. So what's your thoughts about breaking into this realm?
I'm so excited because I feel like I just have so much in my head that I want to like share and encourage people. Like, I think the biggest part of nutrition for me is just like getting behind somebody, and like I just want to see people do good. I want to see them feel good, and I think nutrition is a big part of that.
Absolutely. And it was funny when we were talking about this and you coming on board Silverback Nutrition. It's actually funny that you're coming on a company called Silverback Nutrition, because when I started the company, the reason I called it Silverback is because the masters athletes were known as silverbacks.
Oh,
That's the joke, is like we're old gray-haired silverbacks, right? So that's why I named the company what I did. And now I got this young 25-year-old lady coming in, and you don't really fit the silverback description, but I think you're going to be an awesome coach.
I will one
Uh,
day be the silverback.
everyone will be a silverback one day.
One day
I,
we'll get there.
every day, everyone will be. But
Yeah.
what surprised me is when we were talking is I said, hey, Gabby, like, what's the group of people you want to work with? And in my head, I thought you would say, I want to work with high-end CrossFit athletes.
Mhm.
That's kind of the people I want to work with. But in reality, what are the people that you want to work with?
Just average people that are looking to, maybe lose a bit of weight or for some people it's gain a bit of weight, just get into a really healthy like mental space and feel good in their bodies, because you're in your body every single day. You're asking it to do, you're asking to get out of bed, you're going outside. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I really, when we finished talking that day, that was one thing I loved it that you said that, because it was unexpected for me, and I was like,
Mm.
man, this kid is something else. Like she wants to go and just help, the regular person in her local CrossFit gym just be a better person. She's not trying to work with the top elite athletes in the world. She wants to make her community better. And I really, really like that that was your attitude and approach. And I knew I had made the right decision in asking you to be a part of this. So I appreciate that. That's the attitude that you bring towards the company.
Thank you. Me too.
Awesome. Cool. Well, you know what? It sounds like semis were great. I think we covered everything that we want to cover. Do you want to add anything here at the end?
Oh, and I think we covered lots of it. I think
Awesome. Yeah,
thank
I
you
think
for
so.
everything, I guess, is the thing left unsaid.
You know what? It's my pleasure. And I shouldn't speak for Alex from Apollo, but I often do because he's a very introverted person. But yeah, we couldn't be happier with what you did. We were super happy to be behind you as an athlete. I'm super excited to have you as part of Silverback Nutrition. I think there's a lot of great things coming for you as a coach, for you as an athlete. And I think the end of 2023 and all of 2024 is going to be pretty awesome for you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, Gabby, we'll talk soon. And everybody, I hope you liked our series. This is it. We're
Yeah.
wrapping it up, and we'll chat soon. Cheers,
Yeah.
everybody.
See ya.